Hello, is now are you able to hear me now? Okay. So is this better now? Are you able to hear me? Okay, cool. Thank you. And just being a little nervous, so that's about it. So let's deep dive into e-commerce. But before that, let me just introduce myself, just to give you an insight about whom are you listening to, or can I deliver you what you're looking for? So Um, my name is Edward, and I've been an e-commerce specialist for the past 10, 12 years now. Been in the space. I started I started by selling on books online when there was eBay around then, and I used to sell books around then, and I've sold books to each and every part of the state then. So that exercise of how you sell, understanding customers on the Indian space was a very good experience. From there, we moved, as in I moved down to the tech space, building e-commerce stores for a lot of clients across, and we built over 50, 200 odd stores today, which is powered by one of our tech, and we're leveraging on that. We've got some clients which is dealing in about good 500 to 1,000 orders a day. That's the kind of tech that we provide. So that's about it. Anybody here who's been in the e-commerce space, or who knows a little bit about it and has tried selling in? If yes, just type, yes in the comment box. I'll come to know who has been able to who has some experience around it. Well, then let's do one thing. I'll just share my screen so that you can go ahead and I'll start. So I've created a mind map for you guys, for you to understand this entire process. And this is what we are going to talk about on e-commerce as such. We're going to talk about what is e-commerce, how it all started, what are the different type of models that when you build an e-commerce, what are the different models that you can think of when you start your e-commerce journey. What is the impact of e-commerce that has happened across the world today? How it has impacted across? What are the pros and cons of e-commerce? What are the kind of tools that you can use when you want to start? And the last, who can do this business? So let's start with the first topic of what is e-commerce. E-commerce, as you know, that we've all been shopping online. I'm sure that today, because of COVID, everyone has been shopping online for everything rather than going out, be it your groceries, be it your medicines, be it your clothing, and all of that. So, in a nutshell, if I have to say, uh, e-commerce has evolved in many ways since it started, and it's changing the way that we live today or do business as well. So, in a very simple way, e-commerce is now known as electronic commerce or internet commerce, as what a lot of people say. It's a business model that refers to buying or selling of goods or services using the internet. It's a way of doing business today rather than going down to the physical stores. So that's about e-commerce, as in what is e-commerce. Now, just to give you a very simple example of like there are buying or selling is one of the activities. There are other activities on e-commerce like the auction method or the online ticketing that you do through IRCTC or your Clear Trip or Yatra, that when you try to book travel, or the internet banking that is by itself a part of an e-commerce transaction that happens with you and the bank. Uh, so, and there are other precautions. There are precautions that you need to also take care. Like, just see when you were going ahead and surfing an e-store. Is it safe? Are you putting your card data into a safer site? So there is something that you all need to look into that we will take in up later when we talk about all of those. Um, so that was about the topic on what is e-commerce. Let's just get back to understanding where it all started from, like the origin. Just to give you an idea, I had done a small video on YouTube. It's there on YouTube. I can share the link if you wish to on YouTube, or you can just search for it history of e-commerce, which was done. If you see on that, I've given a very detailed explanation on when did the e-commerce all started. It started about in 1969. That is about 50 years, 55 years before, where a company called CompuServe started using the internet dial-up connection system that was there and trying to exchange information uh, that is there. And yes, Yuda, I'll share the link in just some time. I'll just get through this topic and I'll share that link for you, or the YouTube link that I have. And from 1969, CompuServe started building, and they were definitely one of the biggest companies that were across the world, giving a lot of dial-up connections across the 80s. They like literally um, took over the market, and then and but in 1979 was when e-commerce actually evolved to start, where an inventor, an UK-based inventor, English inventor called Michael Aldrich. He started electronic shopping where information transaction was exchanged over the dial-up connection. So he's called as the father of e-commerce. From there onwards, it's just grown rapidly. The Boston company who started selling, who created the first marketplace for used computers. They were the first marketplace in the world. They came, I think, about in the 1980s, and from there, there has been just a growth with Amazon, Alibaba, or eBay, or you say your Reddit shopping that came in the initial stages of India. Then you have your Google adverts that just boosted out the entire commerce business, to a lot of people, businesses walking into the system, trying to advertise and trying to reach out to as many targeted customers they could go out to. Um, Let me just give you a very simple scenario of what we are at today. Let's go Statista. The projections, what was planned out or penned out for the market size of e-commerce that was supposed to happen by 2025, due to the COVID scenario today, and due to all of the people, because of everyone's being inside and trying to shop online, that kind of figures of reaching out to those figures have actually reached out. So, which means that the COVID scenario has moved up 5 years faster with the e-commerce space. So, you can understand the need for it, the want for it, and how it's growing rapidly. Just to give you a little trivia on who was the first guy who started e-commerce in India. Like his name was K. Vaitishwaran. He started something called as Fabmart, which became India Plaza later on. He was way ahead of time. You need to read about him. There's a lot of things that you can learn. He's got a book as well written how he started about and all of that. So that's with the origin of e-commerce. So as you know that it started at nascent stages, and then we had a dial-up connection. Today we've got Wi-Fi, we've got the internet speeds that's gone, penetration has gone, mobile technology has grown, the networks has done, so which has boosted up e-commerce to another level as well. Now, as you see to my screen, so there are these type of e-commerce models that I will talk to whenever you plan to start your e-store, or when you look to build a business around the online space. There are certain models that you can consider how you would want to define your business. So there are three different categories on how you can define the model. Now, those three different things are what are the types of products that you wish to sell, whom do you sell it to, and where would you want to sell it? So I would say the what, who, and where of the e-commerce models. And let's take the first part. I would say, what are the types of products that you would like to sell? As you see the screen there, I just dropped down, so just listed out some products. That is, you can sell physical products, you can sell digital products, you can sell services, or you can be an affiliate selling someone else's products. That is one. Physical is those mobile phones, or all the physical products that you look at. or buy, like clothing or jewelry or any of those. Digital products could be ebooks, could be your software downloads that you have, or you rely on certain things that help you be more efficient, or that requires for productivity or any other category. There are multiple categories. Could be an ebook, it could be your Kindle books, and all of those. Services could be multiple again, as you must be aware. It could be a copywriting skills, it could be um, selling website design services or e-commerce building services, or it could be consulting services and all of those. Um, Affiliates are, say, for example, you do not have a physical product, you do not have a digital product, or you do not have any service to sell. But what you also can do is you can sell someone else's product and maybe gain a transaction cut out of it. And that's called affiliates. You turn out to become affiliates for those sellers, and you end up making a transaction for someone else. And that's how you earn money through that. So these are different type of products that you can sell. Now, whom do you sell it to becomes one of your biggest, the center part, or the core of how you define your model. Let me just give you an idea. We just brought down a gist of it. So I have B2C, which is the most generalistic model that you see across when a business is trying to sell to a consumer. It's just like you go down to a retail shop, you buy footwear. It's B2C. So because whereas the manufacturer is build something and selling it through a channel, a retailer, and it directly goes down to a customer. So there are multiple channels like your retailer or your manufacturer because of all of that. Now B2B is something that when two businesses interact with each other and consume a transaction. It could be to develop a website company dealing with another company doing some services for them, or a particular software that's been built by the company and is being sold to someone else. Um, Sold to someone else, and that's how you can go ahead and do a transaction across. So that's B2B. So B2C and B2B are generally the most common forms of models that are there across in the market. There are some other models as well, like a C2C, that's customer to customer. A classic example, I'm sure you must be aware of eBay, where a customer was selling some goods of his own to another customer. eBay just being a platform. So that is customer to customer. That happened. Then there could be a customer to business. That is, there is a customer who's selling it directly to a business. Then you have another segment called as B2G or C2G, as in it can be also called as B2A or C2A. That is, I'm just referring G as government or A as administrative services. So it could be, say, for example, your businesses are dealing with government agencies either for consulting services or certain products that they deal with the administrative services or this. With respect to your C2 G or A that you say, it could be like your parking tickets that you pay, or your income taxes that you file online. That is, you're dealing with the government and you're using the medium as a transaction to. So these are certain models. Now, there's another model that has been evolving for quite some time, which is called as the D2C, which is called the direct to consumer, where a lot of manufacturers are trying to directly go down to the consumer. And that's because of one reason, because they have the power of the internet. We are able to go down and target down to a lot of customers directly, thus benefiting the customer maybe in terms of reducing the price point but giving a better quality, and reducing on terms of their layers that they need for to reach down to the customer. B2C, that is the reason why I've just marked B2C to a B2C as well as a related field. They're both related. It's just that the layers are lower. It's a very effective medium if you are able to target your customer very well and you can plan it well as well. So that's with who are the products, as in what are the now where do you sell your products on? Now it could be your branded store. It could be the marketplaces like Amazon, Flipkart, or eBay, or it could be the conversational commerce that you have on Facebook, the social commerce that we talk about, your WhatsApp commerce, or your Facebook, or the mobile commerce that is happening around. So these are three mediums that you can choose. So whenever you plan your e-commerce store. These are the three questions that you need to first define, as in whenever you create it. One is what is that you're going to sell. Second, whom are you going to cater to? And third, where are you going to cater them to? So these are the three questions that if you are able to define, as in you can able to create your entire niche around it, and that makes it more easier for you to plan your marketing strategies, plan your advertising strategies, and reach out to your customers much better. Um, so that's about with e-commerce modules. I'll just take a small quick break, and or do you want to do the question and answers at the end, and I'll just run through the entire points in the initial stages itself. So let's do the question and answer at the end if you have questions that can come up. So now, as I spoke, so there's e-commerce. It's grown from the 1960s or 70s, and today we are at 2021. How has it impacted the entire world? In a very simple way, I would say the impact has been massive. A large number of traditional retailers or manufacturers or wholesalers have been forced to come online because they want to be at competition. They want to be at par with everybody else today. Like the Walmart's coming online, DMart's come online, even though if they have the biggest of the stores, they've been come online because people are looking at convenience today. It helps a lot of small-time business owners or startups to even get fair advantage of the internet and directly go down to the consumers and compete with the larger guys as well, because that's the power of the internet. B2B, in fact, B2B companies today have started offering it as B2C channels, as in like they're creating platforms in such a way that they're able to directly go down to the customers. As I said, the D2C model that I spoke about, um, which is actually raised also. So because of all this impact, and a lot of people are looking at convenience, they want to go online and they want to shop online, and it's more faster. So because of which, there's been a lot of marketplaces also that's been growing. You've seen the Snapdeal that's come in, Shopcluse, or you see Amazon, you see Flipkart. There is a Mintra. There's n number of marketplaces that have grown and evolved in India. Yes, definitely there's a bloodbath of promotion and people discounts and all of that in order to survive. That's different marketing strategies altogether of how we are surviving as such. But definitely, yes, there is a rise in the marketplaces as you know today. Just a very simple example. Just to give you a very simple example, that when you want to buy something, the first thing that you look up to is you either log on to an Amazon or a Flipkart and you start searching for that particular product, just maybe to either compare, maybe not to buy that immediately, but that decision process. In that decision process, you are actually taking in on Amazon or a Flipkart. You're looking at multiple products, you're comparing between both of them, and that has also so it's become part and parcel of your life today. Attending or visiting these marketplaces in order to compare, in order to buy, or in order to even just check the reviews of how it's doing. Maybe because of the FOMO, I need that phone. Someone else has the phone. Just giving a random example. Yeah, so because of all this, the supply chain network that was there, but previously it was more traditional supply chain or the courier industry. Today, supply chain has evolved to another level. Stock management of products have been more organized because the competition is growing. So supply chain has evolved drastically as such, be it with your logistic companies. You can see the number of logistic companies that are growing as startups today from initially what there was three or four. Today we've got N number. And to top of it, we've also got aggregators who actually aggregate all these courier companies together and provide services directly to an e-store, which becomes easier for the e-store to get better rates and more options rather than tying up with a particular aggregator. So there are multiple number of startups that have grown in the logistics space as well. Now, with all of this, you can also see that there have been a lot of new jobs that have been created, be it your content creators, your photographers, your editors, your technology guys, the database the infrastructure managers, all of those. Yes, but the sad part is there's a lot of traditional jobs also that has been lost or is reducing in the longer run. But I think that's going to be a part and parcel of life. Like when something new comes in, the old has to pay the way for it, and that's how it is. So, and since the internet now, just to give you a very simple example, since Alibaba, just to give you an example with Alibaba, Alibaba has connected the entire world for businesses across the world, for a lot of manufacturers to connect with China. So, which means that the commerce trade across the world has grown rapidly. So, you can actually imagine the entire impact of e-commerce that is actually been on our lives or on the economy of every businesses or the country as well, which has grown. And e-commerce is definitely here to stay. It's not something that's going to die off immediately or in the longer run. It's about businesses doing transactions over an internet. And internet today is something that's kind of like a necessity. So it's this is something that's going to stay. It's something that is going to grow. So with the impact, which means that it will always have its own advantages, it will have its disadvantages, and all of that. So let's just discuss a little bit of advantages that e-commerce gives you. First, it gives to a consumer in a very simple way. It gives you access to a lot more options. Just say, let's say, for example, you wanted to buy a shoe and you go down to a particular shop, you were able to only see the choices that that particular shop had. Then you move down to another shop and you move down to another shop, and this used to take a lot of time. Today, everything today is uh, all at one place. You have a lot many sellers through the marketplaces or other things. You just go down to Google, you search, and you have n number of pages that are there for you for them. You know they're trying to sell to you, so you have a lot more options, which is actually increased competition, which actually also goes down and says that people are here to offer better quality because of the options that are available. So if they need to survive, they've got to give better quality, better price. So there's a lot of advantages for the consumer. Now, because of so many options that are available on the space, it actually makes it easier for you to buy anytime, anywhere. That is, you can even shop in at midnight, sitting on your bedroom, or maybe while just laying down, for that matter. So, which means that it's become an easier and a convenient way for someone to shop today, which has actually boosted or impacted the entire e-commerce industry at large. The operational cost for an e-commerce store, if you compare it with a normal guy who's selling it through a brick and mortar shop, is far lesser compared to if you compare it in equal proportions. That is the amount of traffic that comes into your store and to your shop as well. So if you compare it at equal proportions, the operational cost will always be lower on any store. Um, that is because it's mostly automated, the entire process is set, and the consumers take the effort to go ahead and search for these products, and that's how it kind of becomes easier for someone. You just need to process the orders, make sure that it's shipped on time, the quality is maintained, and maintain your reviews as such. Because of which, what happens is it gives you a lot of time to focus on personalized experiences on your targeted audience. So if you're looking at uh, so that's it. And so I'll have to run now a little faster because Zoom has just told me that we've got just 10 minutes left. So the disadvantage is the only thing is that you have limited interactions with your customers. You're dependent on technology. There's no trial and tested, as in you can't try on, like, clothes, you can't just try on. You have to bring it home, order it, and then try. If you don't like it, then the return process happens. Uh, that's about it. And with the tools, just to run through the entire thing, since we've got very short time left on this. So there's self-hosted, which is you either make your solution or you can use either the open source solutions. With open source solutions, I've listed down to some of the tools that are available in the market, which have some name. There are actually more than these lists that I've actually spoken, like OSCommerce, Zencard, or OpenCard. OSCommerce being one of the first or open source solution that came out. There is Magento, which is a very strong tool, OpenCard, WooCommerce, which is again widely used across the world. Just to give you a fact, about 38% of websites that are made on the internet today are built on WordPress. And WooCommerce is a part, as a plugin to WordPress. So hence, there's a lot of websites that are built on WooCommerce today. Now there's a SaaS-based products as well, that is your software as a service. That is, you do not need to get into building your store or maintaining codes or all of that. There are these companies who look at integrated solutions like a Shopify, a BigCommerce Solution. Build-A-Bazaar is an Indian company. Again, doing that, there was Cart Rocket in India, which is doing that. We've moved down to another name called Ship Rocket right now. So there are many players in the market, so both have its benefits. Again, as I said, pros and cons of having a self-hosted solution or a SaaS-based solutions. So both have their pros and cons. We can take that up as another topic altogether the next time when we get into it. And I'll just talk down last who can do business, any commerce business. I would like to just say that anybody can do business because it's the tools are available. Everything is available on the net. There's a lot of tutorials. There are consultants like us who can help you cross. It's like a do-it-yourself services as well. There are SaaS-based solutions like Shopify or anybody who can help you kickstart your website in like 3 days. You can go online with your payment gateways and start selling to your customers. So anybody today who has a product, as I said, if I go down to and say these three things, whom are you going to sell it to? You have a physical product, you have a digital product, or a service, or an affiliate. Anybody who has these set of products can sell or and start an e-commerce store. I had to run through the entire thing in hurry. I'm sure, so I'll create a document around it and I will share it across to your email. I think we've got about some 3 or 4 minutes in case if anybody wants to ask any particular question or anything, if you have any doubts on that. So, would anybody have any doubt or anything as such? Or I'll end this call. Yoda, I will email you the link of the URL that has been asked. I will share. Um, So I assume means I've just gone through the entire thing. If you have any concerns or if you think that I can guide you more on this, you can connect with me. Um, and I'd like to take this further on this. So with this, I'd like to end this webinar. I really thank you all for coming in and taking your time out and coming and listening to this small presentation on e-commerce and how you can get started. If you need any more insights on it, you can just ping me up and I'll be more than happy to connect and guide you or help you on this time. Thank you. Whether that was K. Vaitishwaran, who started e-commerce in India. K. Vaitishwaran, he started FabMart. Aditya Birla Group bought that company and then he moved on to India Plaza. So is there anything else anybody wants to speak on or anything as such? Any questions that you would like to raise? C2B examples could be, Yoda, C2B examples could be your stock photographs, like the iStocks or so. So for example, a photographer just puts up his photograph and businesses are hiring or buying those photographs for use. That is one example of a C2B business. Uh, And Sophia, for how to sell affiliate products via e-commerce, yes, you can identify a certain set of products that you think can have good margins or something that has value for customers that you have or you can target them. You can identify them and either do a review for it, with a blog article, or you can promote it via your email list. or you can put up all of this. And but the point is you can't push it. You need to make it. So it also comes with a very simple way. If I could see, it's like a word of mouth advertising kind of a concept where someone trusts you and listens to you about that particular product that you are recommending. So that is how the basic principles of affiliate marketing that happens via e-commerce. Yes, I need to end this. If there's anything, this is my email address. Much options you get on affiliates like Amazon. It is listed on their website. Every category, if I'm not wrong, every category has different margins, like commissions across on Amazon. Certain categories are about 5%, certain categories are about 7%. So I think it depends completely on how much are they charging the art seller and how much are they able to shell out from their end for for them to get a sale. So every category has different. You can actually go down to Amazon's affiliate program. It's completely listed and it's shown in terms of what is the categories that have been mentioned and what is the percentage that you can get from each category on Amazon. Thank you, Yoda. Thank you very much. I'm really thankful for everyone who's taken time and come here and attended. Thank you. I put in my email address on the chat box in case if anybody wants to connect or take up any discussion over any idea that they want. I'll be more than happy to speak on it.